Hello guys and welcome to the Noob Guide Part 2. Today we'll be learning a few simple functions. We're going to be writing a Hello World program, and after this I'm going to give you some exercises to do. Okay, let's start with a simple Hello World program and then I'll talk through it and get you to understand all the functions that are inside it. Okay, here it is. Okay, this is a simple Hello World program. It looks very easy. As you can see, this function here creates the words Hello World exclamation mark, but I'm not sure that you'll be familiar with anything else. Okay, let me talk about the include statement. What the include statement does, it adds a header file to your program, and stdio.h, often mistaken as studio.h. Don't put that because that's an often mistake, spelling typo. But put stdio.h. You may be wondering what it stands for. It stands for standard input and output. And I bet you're curious to know what is inside standard input and output.h. Header files have source as programming like this inside it, and I bet you're dying to know what's inside this header file, which makes it so important that we have to put it in every C program that we're going to write. Okay, I'm going to show you it, but it's going to be very confusing. Okay, here it is. You may see these indevs and define statements around the place. There's going to be tons of those. There's going to be structures and external variables, and one of these overcomplicated functions that not even I know of. More variables here. Don't worry, we're going to learn about variables in part 3. But as you can see, it is very confusing. But we're not going to learn any of this in the noob guide. We'll probably do the define function, and that's pretty simple to begin with. But we're not going to learn the define function right now. Right now we're going to learn include, main, printf, getch, and return 0. Okay, now we're going to move on to main. You don't really need to put the int here. You're going to learn about int in part 3. You can just leave it as main. The reason why we have these brackets here, we can put variables inside it, but it's going to be pretty confusing knowing what the hell does variable doing inside the main function, and you won't even know what a variable is yet. And I'm just, talking about variables and you've never heard of them before, so I'm just gonna quit all the variable crap and just focus on part 2. The main function is the function that the program commits on first running. So say if you had multiple functions. Say you had multiple functions here, and when you first run it, main will be the first one they run. These two functions will, hello won't commit an error message, but this one will, because we haven't assigned scanf to anything. I know, I'm just skipping to part 3. Let's delete I. And hello this is just an infinite loop. We're going to learn that in, we're not going to learn that in part 3, but we're going to learn that in a higher part, because because it's part 4, Well, it might not be part 4, it might be higher, but whatever. Okay, now you've learnt the main function. This is the function that the program first starts on running. Now printf, the F stands for function, and the print stands for printing characters on the screen. It's not the print as in the printing and the printer, unless you do fprintf, which you define a stream to make you go to the printer. But I'm skipping to something more complex. I know, sorry, I just keep doing that. So now you've learnt printf. Oh, by the way, you're supposed to put the brackets here, and these, forgot what they were called, and in between these it will turn red, or if you've changed it in the editor options, like this. Here, go to down here, string, you can change the color of it if you like. I've changed it to blue because I felt like it, but if you don't know how to do all that, don't worry, because this isn't essential. Oh, and by the way, each time you make a statement or a function, most of the time you're going to need to put one of these semicolons. You may be wondering why we're not putting it in the include or the main, because if we put it on the main, the semicolon will tell the program that it's stopped, and it will probably generate an error message. The include, I have no friggin' idea. Well, I do kind of, but yeah, we just don't put semicolon on here. I don't know why, because my mind's gone blank. And so, you know, functions like these that are in the main function deserve a semicolon. This is the getch function. We're not going to be learning a lot of it today. We're just going to put the getch function in front of the return 0 function, so the program doesn't turn off as soon as you run it. I'll explain later. The return 0 function quits the program. Okay, type this in to your dev C++ thing in the sheet of paper like I told you on part 1, and then compile it like the way I told you in part 1. Save it. Don't forget to save it as .c. Don't save it as .c++. We're not learning C++, we're learning C. Just name it anything you like. It would be best if you call it my first program in C, not C++. That's too long. Let's just call it Hello World and save it. It should show a small window there saying it's compiling, and then this will come up. A DOS prompt saying Hello World. Isn't that the most basic program you've ever seen? It is. And this is what we're learning. Part 2. Okay, let me run through why it's showing Hello World and yet wait, press any key. Okay, the printf came from the includes stdio.h, because stdio.h makes a printf, it creates a printf, you know. The main is what the program starts in, like I told you. Printf prints hello world. The getch makes the program wait until they press any key, that's a getch on its own, and return 0 will return nothing, you know, because it's, you know, traditional in C programming to put return 0 at the end of the program, because at the end of programs they return nothing, because, you know, you're quitting the program and you're not returning anything, because that would be pointless. We'll go deeper in the return 0 in a couple of parts, or maybe not, because it's a bit confusing. So anyway, return 0 quits the program when you press any key. Well, actually, you can leave out the return 0 if you like, but put the return 0 there because it's good to put that there. Makes the program look cool. Then when you press any key, it will quit. Then when you go to the directory of where you put it, it'll be there. Hello world.exe. Hello world. That is your first program you've ever made in C, and we're already on part 2. Okay, so now you've done stdio.h, you've learned the include statement, main function, printf function, getch function, part of it, and the return 0 function. Oh, what I forgot to mention, don't forget to put brackets here. These weird wavy bracket thingies that are not like brackets but are all wavy. Don't forget to put those there, because if you don't put those there, the program won't know if there's any functions in the main function. So yeah, I'm going to give you some exercises to do after this ends. So I'm going to set you the exercises now. Okay, this is your first exercise to create a program that prints C programming is great. If you watched the tutorial, this is going to be easy for you. This is your second exercise to create a program that prints Del Boy, but use 2 different printfs. Oh, and by the way, if you put in this instead of this, then it would still say hello world, because if you put 2 printfs next to each other, it won't create a new line. We will learn how to create a new line in part 3.